What's up, everybody on YouTube? Free Swimmer here, touching base with a video about plumbing. I did the drain. I was showing everybody the drain in my last video, I believe, and I tested it out, and there was the slightest little drip. And I've been doing this a long time, but regardless of that, I think my test fitting, I glued everything but that one fitting. And so coincidentally, I could not get to that fitting without dissecting everything. So it was that fitting right there. The top of it, I think, did not get glued. So that's a new fitting. I cut the drop down. I put a coupling on it, put a new 90, a new piece there, and the way that I had to make it work was I put another union. No real purpose, but it made it all fit. And then I had to put another coupling there because when I cut this section out to put the union in, I had to adapt it all so that union and that coupling all made it happen. But just goes to show you that regardless of how many times you do this, little things like this can happen, and checking it out and going slow is it's going to be the biggest part of this being a success. And I got my, I'm going to get all unsideways here for a second. I ran that, I glued that all in now. Those are my 45 and 45, makes a gradual 90 so there's less gurgling. And I put a 45 there so it goes around that 4x4 and goes all the way over to its drop down, or it goes right into the top of the filter. I put a 45 right there and it goes down into the filter there. The filter, the drop downs are just hand tight. I just slide them in because I can take them out and move my top plates and pull my filters out. They're okay. This is going to be nothing but just drain, gravity, so there's no real pressure on this, but at the same time I don't want their water leaking because of incorrect fittings attached. And here these, that's black because it was on another one a while back. But it is all glued in. This is all glued in very well. This is my return. And there'll be a lot of pressure coming off of the return pump. So there's no room for mistake on this. And then this other one on this side. And there's my drop down there. Okay, now there's a little bit of a difference in the length of the pipe. And there's a little bit of a difference in the height of the pipe. You see that one hangs down a little bit lower. This one's more up in. But it doesn't matter. And I can explain to you why. It's simple. The weirs fill up. The water comes down. Once they both are in full siphon, then I turn the return pump on. So once they're in return siphon, when they're in full, the full drain, it's not going to be one slower than the other. Once they're in the full drain, they're full draining no matter what. They're both at the same speed at that point, so it won't matter at all that they're a little bit different length and a little bit different height, because once they're flowing completely, they'll continue to flow completely. And then the return pump will get everything it could possibly need and a lot more. And if we can see back here, I'm going up in the cubby hole a little bit. Everything here is all glued in, and I made my drop downs and my hangers for my spray bars, but I can only do so much. I got to give glue time to set, and I want to make sure everything's, and I painted them so when they're dropping down into the tank, they'll be at the water level. The 90s and the drop down pipes, you might be able to see them, so I want them black like the spray bars, so they all match. But anyway, here's where we are today. Get back down to the light. Yeah. Alright, over on the front one more time. I appreciate everybody who is following along. I haven't had a lot of questions. I've had some people reached out to me, but I haven't had a lot of questions. If there's anything that's concerning any type of a question, do not hesitate. This is kind of like fun for me. And if you look, there's just barely a little bit of fall from the 45s that turn into a giant 90 back there, and the way it comes down, there's the slightest bit of fall. That's good. You want a little bit of fall, less air pockets. Whenever anything is in the opposite direction where it's on an incline, that gives it a chance to have an air pocket because the water would be running underneath of it. And that air pocket is gurgling. In this one, the fall is maybe 2 degrees, 1 to 2 degrees. It's just barely below level. So that's perfect too. Anything less than level, coming down, just dropping off level is fine. And there you can see my return pump. Everything's set up, just waiting to go. I'm going to put a couple more braces behind the back of the back wall of this tank. And there you have it. The weirs are just waiting to get wet. Alright everybody, later.